get started. So today, what we'll be talking about is scaling UA through TikTok influencers and in terms of the contents. So I'll give you an explanation about who we are. Be very short. It's not an ad, it's just why we're credible to kind of give you an idea about how to use TikTok. Why TikTok? Especially, I see a few of you saying that you're 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 on TikTok as an addict. Uh, if you really understand what TikTok is, you end up being an 8 after this, if I've done my job right. And best practices with TikTok influencers. So this is kind of how to kind of collaborate with influencers on TikTok and get the most out of them when doing a campaign. And then finally, the effect of influencer campaigns on TikTok. So this is kind of like measuring the effect, some of the stuff that we've done for our clients, and how you can really see utilize TikTok influencers and their impact. So with that being said, who am I? Well, my name is Jide Madawaka. I'm CEO and one of the co-founders at the Yoke Network. And what do we do? Well, we have a network of over 2,000 influencers across lifestyle, gaming, entertainment, and comedy. And 95% of our influencer network is on TikTok. So about 80%, I'd say, of our influencer traffic comes from the UK and the US. And we essentially do this through something we call CPI influencer marketing, which is essentially helping apps to drive downloads through influencers on a performance basis so you're only being billed per install. So here's some of the partners that we worked with. As a company, we worked across the shopping app to fintech to photo and editing, gaming, you name it, we've done it. And here's some of the companies that we've worked with as well. So why TikTok? Which is the big question, because I'm sure everybody here has heard about TikTok or seen an ad in some sort of form, whether it be print, whether it be web, mobile, and TikTok is massive. In terms of the actual platform itself, it has over 800 million monthly active users. And in terms of total downloads, it's received over 1.5 billion downloads. But the key thing out of all of this, in terms of the scale of TikTok, is that it's a really engaging platform. And the average number of minutes per day spent per user is around 45 minutes on TikTok. And for those who have been on the platform, I'm sure you've gotten lost a few times. So what are the key benefits of TikTok, especially in comparison to other mobile social media networks? So TikTok is a creator-focused platform. And with that being said, it is very different from Instagram, because on Instagram, it's all about sharing and being social, commenting and liking. But TikTok is all about the creator. And this is why you see some of the most engaging, if not the most engaging content on the internet. And part of this is because it is how the TikTok kind of sucks you in to the platform itself, is that it's full screen content. Whereas on Instagram, it's about a square, like the posts that you usually see are square. But on TikTok, it's full screen content, which really shows that there's a huge focus on the actual creator and the content being created. And finally, as a benefit especially for the advertisers in the room, is that TikTok is it has a really unsaturated audience, especially in comparison to Instagram, which has had ads being with influencers and on the native on Instagram and Facebook for years. But TikTok, in terms of collaborating with influencers, has only really started to grow over the past 12 months. And the native platform itself is only about 12 months old. So there's a huge unsaturated audience on TikTok, and the time for advertisers to move is right now. And I wanted to give you insight into the scalability of the platform, because TikTok really does have infinite scalability. And this is because anybody can go viral. The nature of the platform on TikTok is that any creator, it's all about the content. So any creator, even if you have 0 followers, even if you have 10,000 followers or 10 million followers, you can go viral if your content is good enough. And And with this, in comparison to Instagram, you need to already build up a following to be able to go viral. To be able to get 1 million views on Instagram, you need to have millions of followers. But on TikTok, it's the flip, and you don't need an audience to go viral. And with that being said, there's positive engagement on Instagram and Facebook and other platforms. What you actually see is that a creator might have 10,000 followers, for example, here, and they'd only get 500 likes or 500 views. But on TikTok, this creator itself, Macy here, she has 10,000 followers, and I'll give you insight into how many views she actually got on one of her posts. So Macy created this piece of content, and she actually went viral. And with it, she has 10,700 followers, and she received over 6 million views. And I'll give you an insight into the content that she actually created.
Everybody has that one thing in their house that everybody thinks is so cool. Could be a hidden cabinet, little movie room, gadget, but ours is this.
And as you see, it's really engaging content. Well, this wasn't an influencer ad, but it gives you an example of the scalability of the platform and how good the content could really be. So in terms of influencers, how we define it at Yoke, we call between 200K to a million a million followers a micro influencer. Main reason being because of the scalability of the platform itself. Between 1 to 5 million followers is a mid-tier influencer, we say, and from 5 million to 10 million followers, we say is a large. But there are influencers that we do work with, and in our network, some of the largest influencers have over 20 million followers plus, and that is with a US and UK audience. And we call these mega influencers, and there are a lot of influencers on TikTok with 10 million plus followers. I say if you're advertising, you are trying to test or work with an influencer, I'd say start with the mid 1 to 5 million range. Main reason being is because it will give you a good understanding of scale and conversion rate, and you'd actually be able to get a good enough sample size if you're testing with influencers. So this is the type of range I say to test with. So I want to give you a profile of one of the influencers that we work with. So this is Bobby Moore, and he has 4.2 million followers, and he averages between 750K to 1.5 million views per post. So in terms of scalability, that is huge in comparison to other social media platforms. For example, on Instagram, an influencer this size, there aren't as many of them. And if there is somebody of this size, they'd most likely be a celebrity. But you're seeing teenagers, young adults with audiences this size, and they're ready to be tapped into. So in terms of the scale, I want to give you a case study of the type of scale as a mobile advertiser that you could reach with influencers on TikTok. So here is Bobby Moore, and I'll give you insight into his content.
Hey, keep quiet. Shh. I'm about to tell you a secret about Netflix. Okay, so the American Netflix has way more shows than the UK Netflix. Shh. But I know how you can watch those shows even if you don't live in America. Shh. Just follow my next steps and never be bored again. Shh. Okay, so click the link in my bio to download Hexatech VPN. Set your virtual location as the United States and connect. Now enjoy all the American Netflix shows.
So obviously my button was trigger happy, but he actually received for this piece of content alone over 55,000 installs for the mobile advertiser, which is phenomenal in comparison to working with influencers on Instagram or even on influencers on YouTube. And this actual video itself had over 3 million views. So there's huge scale that you can really tap into on TikTok. And I'll give you insight as to how you can do it. So in terms of Bobby Moore, how do you kind of repeat this success and scale your influencer campaigns on TikTok? So I'll give you an idea of the best practices with influencers. So I'd always say create engaging content. And by engaging, what I mean is that content that does not appear to be an ad, content that does not appear to be boring, that is plain. I think influencer marketing has gone past the days of hashtag I'm using this, so buy it. No. So if you look at Bobby Moore's content in the example that I showed you in the previous slide, you didn't really feel, and it didn't really look like an ad until he gave the call to action. And with that being said, I'd also say make sure that the content is really native to the influencer's audience. Bobby Moore himself, he creates a lot of how-to factual content, and that is part of the reason why it resonated so well with his audience, is because one, it was engaging, two, it was native. So as a mobile advertiser, when working with influencers, I'd also say, give them quite an open brief so that they can integrate your app into their mobile advertising, into their influencer piece of content, and you should be able to see some great results. So with that, I want to give you an example of poor content, and I want to give you an example of good content. This is some content that we saw on TikTok, and you'll have a look for yourself. So I'll show you content piece number one.
Are you planning on gaining weight, or even losing weight? Or maybe you're planning on maintaining your weight? Stick around, because I'm about to show you my little secret. Welcome to your daily dose of health facts. So my best girlfriend, who's literally like a fitness god, showed me this app a couple months ago called Flat Tummy. It's for women. It's called Flat Tummy. Look for it now in the App Store. It's like a pink and white arrow. I'll show you. Not only is it a fitness app, and it'll tell you what to do every day, depending on if you want to work on your core, upper body, or lower body, but it also has menus and ingredients, so you know how to make things for all meals of the day, so you know you're staying in your target weight range. Also though, it has a shop section where you can get nice fitness clothes, protein shakes, multivitamins. It's amazing. You must get this app. I literally fell in love, and I use it every day. There's the app right there.
So with that being said, I'm sure a lot of you have gone to get a cup of tea. But this piece of content, clearly, it does not, one, look engaging because the influencer is obviously standing in front of the camera kind of advertising. And two, it also doesn't look native, and it doesn't appear native to their actual piece of content. So surprisingly enough, this did not perform, and it would not have performed well. But I'm going to give you an example of some engaging content that we did with one of our gaming clients.
Hey guys, my name's Dom, and I'm going to show you my daily routine. So I start by waking up and playing some games. Then I have a big bowl of Cocoa Pops, play some piano because who doesn't love music. Then I turn on my phone and look for apps to play. Today's app is Survival City Zombie Defense. Now hear me out, this game is addictive. From the get-go, you are introduced to fighting zombies and the tension is real. Basically, the concept of the game is to build up your town and build up your defenses and basically just get rid of all the zombies who look a lot like Simon Cowell Woodley. You get gifts along the way, bombs, etc. You can build more defenses, get more villagers, and it's so much fun. You can also do missions which gives you extra materials. The scariest part about this game though is the nights when zombies invade. I'm so nervous to do this. If you guys pass night 1, you are a legend. As you can see, I'm getting attacked by loads of zombies and I'm kind of scared. That is Zombie City, guys. Links in bio. If you're unsure to what link in bio means, click the profile picture to the right of the screen and then click the link in my bio. They will be taken to the download page. Hope you guys enjoy and have fun fighting zombies. See you later. Hey guys.
So, what I would say is, who would like to play Survival City now? The big difference I'd say is between those two pieces of content is that with Don Marcus, it was a lot more native. It integrated TikTok, which is a native music platform. It integrated sound. It had a lot of changes as well, and transitions which were really fitting and kept your attention as a user. And for his audience, it worked extremely well. So with regards to being best practice, I want to give you a couple other ideas when working with influencers that you could do. Number one is you could take advantage of trends. There's notably during lockdown, there have been quite a few trends such as the Tootsie slide, the Tootsie challenge by Drake, the wipe it down challenge, and a lot of the trends do come from music itself. But as a mobile advertiser, you can take advantage of these trends. And also, I'd also always make sure that there's a call to action on the post, a call to action to actually drive the audience to then go and download your app. You saw it with Don Marcus. You saw it poorly with the other piece of content for Flat Tummy that I showed you. But another influencer that did it perfectly was Bobby Moore. So I'm gonna just give you an example of a challenge, and this is just wipe it down. This was Will Smith, and it's not an ad.
Wipe it down. Wipe it down.
So again, as you see, TikTok, there's amazing content and really, really engaging content that you can see on the platform, and that comes in the form of trends. So the influencer effect. Well, I guess you're wondering, TikTok's an amazing platform that you can scale on. On top of that, TikTok is a platform that you can create amazing content with. But how does an influencer campaign look in terms of data, and how does it look in terms of having an effect on my mobile UA? So I want to give you an insight into something that we did with one of our mobile advertisers. What we actually did for them was that we saw that there was a correlation between their spend in the App Store, their spend through our channel, and their ranking in the App Store. And the main reason behind this is that through influencer marketing, especially done on a performance basis, there's also a lot of organic uplift that you can receive as a mobile advertiser. Main reason being because not all of the influencers' audience are going to go and download the app through the link in the bio. They may actually go into the App Store and search. So with that being said, and the increases in searches in the App Store, we actually were able to peg and see a correlation between the actual increase in daily spend through our channel, and we attached it to a 3-day moving average, so that we were able to see a change in the spend and an effect on the spend in our channel with the mobile advertiser. So as you can see here, the red dates are where we paused to measure the results, and you actually saw a decrease in the 3-day movement average in the previous day's rank. But overall, what we actually saw was the direct correlation between App Store ranking and the influencer spend. So moving forward, what we actually went back to our client and said to them was that by spending X amount per day through our channel, you'll be able to achieve this rank in the App Store. And they're one of our clients, and we are still working with them today. So influencer marketing does have a huge effect organically. So when measuring the influence effect when on an influencer campaign, I'd also say take into consideration the organic uplift, but also the social credibility is huge. Especially when you think as a mobile app, especially newer apps, when attaching your brand, even though it's not a brand channel, even though it isn't a brand of focus for a lot of UA campaigns, at larger influence. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So when measuring the influencer effect, it's the paid install plus the organic effect, which obviously equals the total effect of the influencer campaign. So I want to run you through a case study. With the case study, we're going to talk about one of our clients, Airbrush. And they came to us to help them to support their user acquisition and growth by driving engagement through influencers on TikTok. So how do we do this? Well, throughout our campaign, through Yoke Network, how we work is that we actually select influencers based on historical data first. Once we then do that, we then find the best influencer in the category, and then we launch the campaign. Main reason being is because with the historical data on influencers, we'll then be able to understand whether they will actually convert as users for our clients. So I want to give you an idea of what we did with Airbrush. Well, we actually took into consideration fitting in the influencer content in the best tone of voice of the influencer, making it native to the influencer's audience, and also creating some really engaging content. And we did this with one of our influencers called Cringe Carter, and we saw some phenomenal effects. But I'll show you how Cringe Carter actually performed and what the content looked like.
So I'm doing this airbrush trend again, but instead of putting everything to the right, I want it to be as far left as possible. So as you can see, I'm putting my eyebrows all the way down so they can be little cute little caterpillars. I want my lips to be super small and petite. Make them smaller. I want my nose to look super, super small and cute, like Cindy Lou Who. What? I want my eyes to look like tiny little black dots, like little pelican black dots. And I just want my face altogether to be small. And what do I get in return? I look like a frickin' monkey. If you want to try it yourself, the link's in my bio.
So we use some really cool, engaging content because Cringe Carter always tells a lot of jokes. But we actually saw that the influencers were promoting Airbrush not only with their audience, and there weren't just results in a performance marketing aspect, but there were also results in a lot more deeper ways. So I want to highlight the social effect of our influencer campaign with Airbrush and what we actually saw in terms of UGC. So through the influencer campaign on TikTok, you're able to actually use a sound and recreate content using that sound. And we saw that with Cringe Carter's content, not only did he have it as an ad, but we saw over 500 pieces of content created with his sound.
So I'm doing this
So here's how you find sounds on TikTok. And these are all of the pieces of content that were made by users. So Airbrush was actually getting a lot of organic creators organically working with their app and organically creating content with the Airbrush app. So we even saw on top of that the social effect. And one of the other influencers that we worked with, Louis Mills, one of his audience went into the App Store and left a review and said, "Come on, we all know most of us are here from Louis Mills TikTok. Don't lie." So we saw that there were actual users not only downloading the app, but they're also going in and engaging with the actual Airbrush product itself. So what we actually saw from monetary perspective was that upon the launch of the campaign and over the period of this snapshot, we saw Airbrush have an increase of 90% in revenue across the UK and US markets. And with that, and the Cringe Carter post specifically in numbers, for his actual initial posts, which I showed you an example, he received only 527,000 views. But with that, there was 578 pieces of UGC created. And with the total amount of views, including the UGC, there was over 7 million views in total. So in terms of the actual scalability and of the campaign, there was a huge amount of engagement with the actual app itself. But in terms of the overall campaign, what we actually saw was that we were able to, over the first 5 days of the campaign that we launched, we saw that Airbrush increased over 400 places in the App Store. And they were outside the top 400, and they were actually able to break into now and peak at number 19 in the UK App Store. And their highest overall rank was obviously 19. But all of this was done on a performance basis, and Airbrush actually only paid for the installs that they received through our channel. So there's huge benefits of influencer marketing, especially on TikTok, that you can receive as a mobile app on a performance basis, only build on installs. So with summary, apologies for the technical error in between, but for mobile advertisers, I would always say that you need to move now. You really do need to take advantage of TikTok's unsaturated, scalable audience. Because there's huge scale, and it's something that you can really take advantage of, and you can really get your app in front of new eyeballs. And finally, this is mandatory. I would always say, give creators freedom to interpret your app and position your app in the best way in front of their audience. Give them a nice and easy brief for them to interpret, and then giving them the creative freedom, because they understand their audience more than yourself, is always the best way. And with that being said, my name is Jide Madawako. I have a treat for you guys as well, which is if you just click or type this in yokenetwork.com/1 million installs, I've given you a guide as to how you can and the best practices that you could use when working with influencers. And that's me done.
Great. Thanks, Jide. That was great. I was really enjoyed being able to watch that. Normally I'm coming in to the workshop room, putting my head around the corner, and I can see everyone's in there seeing this great presentation, but I can't stay for long in the sort of in-person events. And one of the good things about the virtual event, I get to see some more of the content, and that was great. We've got quite a few questions to cover. Maybe, do you want to just stop sharing your screen, and then I'll pin you on here. So yeah, I thought it was amazing, especially the guy with the 55k installs from his post. That was unbelievable case study.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact he had 4 million followers was also definitely food for thought. So let's jump into questions. If you guys can leave them in the Q&A box, that'd probably make it a bit easier. So starting with Fabien Pierre from Unicorn App Smart News, he is asking, since given the opening of the TikTok ads platform with pretty healthy growth in app installs, what are the scenarios or use cases where you'd recommend to go with their ad platform versus go with influencers?
I think with that's actually a really, really good question. I'd say with influencers, it's good because for us as an influencer marketing platform, what we see is that influencers are able to create some really, really engaging content, and there's the social benefits that you get with influencer marketing. So I'd say if you want your app to kind of be endorsed by influencers, if you want really creative content, then I would say it's probably better to work with influencers. But if you're just trying to scale UA and kind of optimize it down, then I'd say kind of work with the native ads platform. But even with that, you'd still need influencer content, because influencer content performs the best on TikTok for like the native ads. So I'd say if you're kind of just looking to have always on UA, then maybe work with influencers, or then maybe work on a native platform.
Got it. And someone else is asking, when you're engaging with the influencers, how much of the script do they generate, and how much comes from the business or itself, or is it collaborative? How can you say a bit more about how that works?
Yeah, so it's always essentially, obviously you want them to highlight the features. As a mobile app, you always want the influencers to kind of highlight what you want. So it is collaborative, but I'd also say give influencers that creative freedom. So give them a brief, or kind of funnel their focus and say, oh, I want you to focus on this paid feature, for example. And then taking that into consideration, they can go and create content in the best tone of voice and really engaging way for their audience.
Got it. And a couple of sort of questions on the numbers behind this. So Stephen's asked, what is the typical cost per install with this type of marketing in your experience? Yeah. And someone else wants to know, well, what about overall ballpark pricing or budgets for some of the campaigns you've been talking about today?
Yeah, so the way that we work is that we're always on channel. So we actually have influencers driving installs for our clients around the clock. So with us, I'd also I'd say with the CPI, every app's different in a way. So like, for example, hyper casual games would have a lower CPI than, for example, a fintech app. So it really does depend on how the actual app converts, and then like their post-install focus or post-install KPIs. So I'd say it does range. Given ballpark numbers, I'd say we've seen from anywhere around $1 up to like $5 per install.
Got it. And a couple of kind of micro questions. One is this call to action. Is that always the link in the bio?
Yeah, the call to action is usually the link in the bio, yeah.
Right. And what about mentioning you're getting paid for the content, paid promotion? Jade is asking, how's that handled Is it similar to
Yeah,
other platforms or?
yeah, influencers always put ad. They'll always put like they'll always let the audience know that it's an ad. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because it says I'm connecting via audio. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they've got to say it's an ad or have a hashtag or say
Yeah,
at the beginning. Right.
they'll usually have a hashtag that it's an
Right.
ad.
Got it. Great. So we talked a bit about sort of pricing and budgets. So Michaela is asking, how do you navigate the younger demographic of TikTok when you're advertising a product for an older demographic? Or...
That's actually a good question. Well, if the product's kind of is not going to fit with our audience, then we'd essentially wouldn't work. Like, so for example, something like a gambling product, I wouldn't really push that towards TikTok right now, just because one, it's a younger audience, and two, it doesn't fit with our network. But if there's kind of a 50-50 or we think that it may work, then we just run a test campaign to see how it converts. If we're able to see it convert well and both us and the client are happy, then we could scale the campaign.
Great. And a couple of people, Pam and someone else earlier, was asking about sourcing. Yeah, how do you go about finding the influencers? How do you categorize them? Pam's asking, you're a talent agency, like what's your relationship with them?
Yeah. So we're actually essentially I describe us more as a community. Main reason is because we actually have influencers that already sign up to our platform. The way that we manage the campaign for influencers, they have a mobile app. So they literally see a brief, copy a link and advertise. So it's very, very simple for the influencer. On us, we have a back end that we built so we can manage the campaigns on our end. And we have influencer specialists in-house that optimize the campaigns for you. So that's anywhere from managing the brief, that's all the way to we have different ways that we activate the influencers. But because of the way that because of our model and because of UA, our influencers are always kind of incentivized to advertise because they could scale campaigns. They have the views to scale campaigns themselves, and can earn a lot more than just a one-off ad. And it's very simple for them to do so.
Got it. And I think they've just changed this. Victor's asking, is it legal to use music like Wipe It Down? I have no clue what that is. I'm going to look it up afterwards. In an ad post with an influencer, or would you try and clear the rights?
Yeah, so what we actually have, like, for example, you see like Bobby Moore. A lot of our influencers, a lot of their content is where they kind of do voiceovers and they talk about it themselves, or they may have some like light music in the background. But in terms of that, we haven't seen any issues so far. We don't usually, if you were to do like a fixed campaign, then I'd say make sure that you get the rights cleared because you need to be brand safe. You need to make sure that that's cleared. But through us, a lot of the influencers create their own original sounds anyway.
Got it. And Tony is asking, what about an ed tech business? Is that going to be suitable as everyone on TikTok for entertainment and leisure rather than education? Is there any hope for him?
No, I'd like to see the app because we've actually seen, like, for example, who would have thought that a VPN would be able to like scale on TikTok in terms of that audience, but they're one of the clients that we've seen grow massively. And also there's a category on TikTok called Learn on TikTok, which is like educating yourself on the platform, and that's a growing category. So I think that education would actually be huge. Like educational app could have a lot of potential on TikTok.
And Evan's asking, sort of, how micro or niche can you go with influencers? Is it kind of big verticals like entertainment, music, tech, or can you go for more kind of niches?
So I can give you an insight. We've worked with some of our clients that we're working with now are like language learning apps, and all the way up into as I said, VPNs to get social apps and gaming apps. So it is varied. The whole idea that we kind of look at is because TikTok is so new, we'd love to kind of guide some of our clients, especially the ones that are 50-50, and test to see how it will their app will perform through our network especially. So sometimes you actually see that a client will come and they say, oh, this type of influencer is what I want to work with. But after launching a test, they see that a whole new category of influencer would work amazingly well with them. So there's a few ways around it.
Great. Okay, there's a few more questions, which are more kind of in the nitty-gritty of campaigns. So what I suggest is you guys maybe download the guide, or I've just pasted in. He's probably not going to may not thank me for this, but I'm sure he will. Paste in Jide's personal email. So what I suggest is maybe sort of that's the sort of thing you can ask sort of directly. Yeah, I mean, it's a great session, Jide. Really, thanks for joining us. So best thing to do is reach out, grab the guide, and maybe
I'd say the best way to kind of follow up with us is definitely drop me an email and we'll be able to have a meeting and chat and help you guys out. On top of that, it's also, I'd say, download the guide, because we actually put in a lot of useful content there. So I'd say downloading the guide is also good. Is also a good way to kind of learn about TikTok. And I think what we'll be doing in the future is having more of those to help you guys. So hope you guys have an amazing evening, and for those in the States, an amazing day.
Great. Thanks, Jide. Okay, so next up, we're talking app marketing automation. That's at the top of the hour. Hope you can stick around. That's going to be really interesting. So look forward to seeing you then. Thanks again to Jide, and see you all soon.
Thank you. Take care. See you guys. Bye.